Amid a wave of uncertainty crashing over her well ordered life after being diagnosed with breast cancer, she has emerged stronger than ever. Thanks to her resilience, determination, and the unwavering support of loved ones. This is the story of Warimeki Lyngwa, a cancer survivor who has managed to carve a niche for herself in the world of social media and at the same time managing her responsibilities as a wife and a mother of a 2-year-old son.
So now we're here at Wari's house at Rinja. So we will go inside and talk about her life as an influencer and how she battled with cancer. So come, we'll go and talk to her.
Before Wari's life took an unexpected turn due to cancer, she was already making a mark for herself in the field of media as a newsreader, a host, a singer, and much more. Yes, the news about cancer was shocking. It was overwhelming. But Wari's resolve quickly set in. She knew that she needed to confront this challenge head on, not only for her own sake, but also for her family's well being. She didn't want her illness to overshadow the life she had built. Balancing her career and family responsibilities while undergoing treatment was daunting. There were days when the chemotherapy left her exhausted and she struggled to maintain her usual energy levels. After years of treatment, she has finally beat cancer and now she's back in the game, stronger than ever. For Wari, impossible is nothing. The joy of her recovery was bittersweet, as she knew that her journey had given her a unique perspective on the struggles faced by those battling cancer. Wanting to make a difference, Wari decided to use her experience to help others. She turned to social media as a platform to share her story and spread awareness.
Now, I remember that when I received the news that I, got cancer, first of all, I was so shocked. Secondly, I remember that this was in the year 2022. I was diagnosed with cancer in the month of, in between October and November. So I remember that when I was told that I had cancer, I asked my doctor what this is. So the doctor, would explain it to me in very medical terms and explain that, okay, there are some cells that are malignant and, if the cancer is at stage this grade, it's going to spread. And if it's breast cancer, that means it can be because of genetic issues and everything. So all of this data was just too much for me to process at that time, especially for people who do not know what it is, right? So what I did was I went home and I did a lot of research. Now, I understood, I had to do my own research because I searched for people who would be able to give me this sort of information, but I found that there was little or nothing at all. I really tried to get as much as info as possible from people who have undergone this journey, but I found that there were less people who talked about it. Purely probably because of the taboo that comes along with being tagged as a cancer patient. Also because it's not a comfortable subject to talk about, because you go through a lot of mental pressure and you go through a lot of physical pressures as well. So, and then the only way that I could learn a lot more was only from YouTube as well as social media. So that's where I started to check, the Instagram pages of other cancer survivors through my sister's social media. And I found that, they were very honest about it, and therefore I learned a lot more. Because of those things, I realized that social media is a very, very powerful medium to get your message across. And it's so important because I always used to say that cancer can happen to anybody. So obviously, if I can educate a lot of people on how to take, not just take care, but how to actually find out, what are the signs and symptoms, so that it becomes easier. Because I've learned that if you actually get yourselves treated and you find that you have cancer at a very early stage, it's easier for your body to cope with it. It's easier for your body to cope with the treatment, and therefore it becomes so much easier. So that's why the social media is the reason. I mean, social media is so powerful that I realized that that is one of the best mediums to get my message across.
What started as a personal blog quickly grew into a vibrant community of followers who were inspired by her courage and honesty. Wari's social media presence, which was named Voice of Hope, became a beacon of support and information. She posted regular updates about her treatment, including the highs and lows, and shared practical advice on managing side effects, coping with emotional stress, and finding support. Her candid posts resonated with many as she spoke openly about the fears and triumphs of her journey. She also used her platform to highlight the importance of early detection and regular screenings.
What are your content type? Like, what content type do you prefer?
So there are two types of contents which I'm actually aiming at. Number one is the serious content, where people are aware of what are the signs and symptoms that one should look at before they get cancer, and what can they do after they get cancer. What are the kind of support that they can actually look for, which hospitals probably that they can go for, what is the financial implication of all that. So this is categorized into two parts, where I'm saying it's a serious content, what is meant especially for awareness. That's the kind of content I'm going to be putting up. But on the other hand, the other content also, which also works for Instagram. So the fun content where I let them delve into what I do in a daily life, how I go about being a cancer survivor, and just doing the things that anybody can do. Because I've always said that you might be having cancer, you might be a cancer survivor, you might still be under medication, but what you do every day is as normal as can be. The reason I started my socials was because of of a journey. All right, it's totally a story which I have to tell everybody.
Wari's work did not go unnoticed. She was invited to speak at various events where she shared her journey and the lessons she had learned. Her advocacy brought attention to the often overlooked issues surrounding breast cancer and helped to reduce the stigma associated with the disease. Recently, she was recognized for her role in spreading informative content and was named the Emerging Social Media Influencer of the Year by the government of Meghalaya under the Hello Meghalaya initiative.
How do you feel about winning the Emergent Influencer Award of the Year?
When I started my Instagram page, or when I started my socials, it was not purely because I wanted to put myself out there, but it was purely because I wanted to share the message of positivity and to share my message of how I actually beat cancer by being positive, and also by trusting in God. And everything was like very, very new to me. So when I came to know months later that I was selected for the Emerging Influencer of the Year, it kind of like was a shock. It was a shock because I did not expect that people would even recognize that this channel existed. Because if I have to like compare with other channels, there were big influencers. There were like 20,000 followers, 10,000 followers, and I thought that was a big feat, achieving coming to that point. And so my messages were very simple. The way that I would put my videos out also were very simple, because I didn't really have the capital to invest in good cameras also. So then when I got selected, I was so happy, because it's not about being recognized, but it's knowing that someone had checked my page, someone had checked my socials and thought that my messaging was good enough, if not for her, but for somebody out there. And therefore, because my messaging was, reached the right person, it kind of validated my drive, to go on forward and to make this, one of my main focus in life in bringing awareness to cancer. And therefore, when I won the Emerging Influencer of the Year, honestly, I did not expect it. I was completely taken by surprise. So when I heard my name, I was more excited. Then I understood, probably this is all part of God's plan.
How does she do it? Wari got one of her rooms transformed into a studio, making it easier for her to work on the content from the comforts of her home.
This is a small room which I made specifically because I wanted to spread, cancer awareness to everybody who's undergoing this cancer journey, or to anybody who probably do not know much about cancer and therefore want to be educated about it.
So you've been in media over a long time. So why did you choose social media over conventional media?
Okay, see, I mean, like choosing social media over another type of media, electronic media or print media, is, it's quite, it may not be the right way of actually putting it out, because I may have had like a lot of experiences in media, especially for electronic media, but I understand that, electronic media, be it in the form of, the news or programs that goes through cables and through television and maybe through even radio, it's limited in a way. Why? Because you can do it only when there's a certain program. So I understood that social media, on the other hand, has an equal footing in this. Why? Because I can do it at my own pace. I can do it at my own intensity. I can talk about everything because, yes, it's free. It's freedom. This is freedom of speech, and also it's subjective, right?
Through her tireless efforts, Wari became a symbol of hope and resilience. Her story not only highlighted the strength required to overcome cancer, but also demonstrated the power of using one's voice to effect positive change. Apart from juggling many roles as a mother, a wife, and a social media influencer, Wari is also an entrepreneur, running her own bridal boutique at Maulai Mauro called Wets. She is a fashionista. One look at her and you know the kind of woman she is. She carries herself with such grace and elegance. She is indeed a soft-spoken, polite, and a well-dressed woman. She loves designing clothes, especially wedding gowns.
We are here at Wari's boutique called Wed. So now we'll get to know more about her boutique from Wari herself. So, Kong Wari, which year you started your boutique?
I started my boutique as early as 2018, but of course this shop came into existence much later after COVID, because I remember I started it, just at home. Because I brought in, wedding gowns, just a few wedding gowns. I wanted to cater first to just friends. And then immediately, after progressing from friends, then there was recommendations by friends for their friends. So it became quite a large number of people that were interested in my wedding gowns, because I was interested in bringing in, unique wedding gowns which would cater to one person. So more or less like a one design, one dress policy. So then after I knew that is becoming a little bigger, and you can't just keep on bringing customers home, so I started to come up with a proper shop, which is here in Mauro.
So have you been always interested in designing?
So see, I love fashion. I like to. Thank you. I like to dress up well. I love colors. I always would follow a lot of people who are quite influential in the fashion industry. And I remember that how I started Weds, it was because of something. I always have a story for everything. So I remember that when I wanted to get married, it was in the year 2014. Now, when I asked my fiance at that time to buy me a wedding gown, he says, price is not a factor. But for me, and probably for a lot of brides, they would like to say, we don't want to go over the budget because we would like to save, the money for sometime in the future, for a house, or for all of that. And I did not want to go for something expensive. And let's remember that in the year 2010, 11, 12, all of those years, gowns were very expensive, whether you have to have them sewn or you have to actually buy them ready-made. So what I did was, I had a very dear friend of mine who was both in Singapore as well as in China. So I got to meet them and we designed a dress which I wanted. I wanted a dress with, with lots of sparkles and all of that. So what they did was, I sat with them for about a year outside, just a month, a year before my wedding. And we designed this dress, nicely in a very systematic way. And then when I brought it back to Shillong, I remember that a lot of people liked it because it was different. And I thought to myself, why not, bring dresses which will cater to people from all sorts of price range, because sometimes you would want to buy an expensive dress, and sometimes you don't want to buy an expensive dress. So I remember wanting to bring dresses just to cater to people who can afford it and people who cannot even afford it. So, and my wedding dresses at that time started from 5,000. I remember when I brought it home. So this is how I started Weds, and it all evolved from from that innate or inner hobby of liking fashion.
Okay, when you talk about wedding dress, what comes to your mind?
So wedding dresses, when I talk about wedding dresses, I always imagine that most important day of a woman's life, where they always say you become a woman, but once you get married, you step into a different world altogether. Sometimes it is a big surprise that that day marks the beginning of something new in your life, a new family, a new person in your life, thinking like a wife, thinking like a mother. And wearing a wedding dress on the most important day of your life also holds a lot of significance, because it's like you're transcending, or you're going to that new era, and you are showing the world that this is me in all my glory, and I am ready for the next phase in life. So it is a beautiful moment, and therefore when I choose wedding gowns for my clients, I always tell them that you have to choose a wedding gown that makes you happy. Whether you get it from me or you get it from any other place, the wedding gown should make you happy, because it will be the most important day of your life. It will be the most happy day of your life. And it signifies everything that, we've always dreamed about, being a princess. On that day.
Are you also featuring your dresses in social media?
So yes, I have featured a lot of my wedding dresses in social media. I do have an Instagram page called Weds. I don't have a website as yet, because I've always believed in a one dress, one design policy, and it's supposed to be exclusive for customers. So I do not want to show it out there, but I want customers to come and experience how it is like to choose a wedding gown here with full recommendation. And the Instagram page is growing. So now that I know a little bit more about social media, I'm trying to invest a little more more of my time in it as well. Yeah.
So, Kawari, are you also sharing fashion tips despite serious content like?
Yeah, I mean, considering that I love fashion, I would love to share, fashion tips. And I want my fashion tips to be exclusively, not just exclusively, but also to concentrate on, people who have survived cancer. Because let's not forget that, once you get cancer, your body changes. My body has changed. Your skin changes. You feel as if that you're not as beautiful as you were or you are, and your hair changes. You have a new persona. You look different. And how do you actually adjust to these changes in your life? And I've heard there's some friends of mine. This is a true story, where they do not want to come out of their house anymore. Because people look at them in a different way. So I want people to understand that you have to break over what people think and talk about you. You just have to go out there, be comfortable in your skin. I mean, like, I'm not perfect also, but I try to, I try to feel confident in my skin. I try to feel confident in my body. I go out there, I walk with confidence, and that's the kind of confidence I would also want to put in all of my content as well. And if fashion is also part of it, definitely I'd like to give tips to people also. But apart from that, of course, I mean, if it's general tips on fashion, I'm good at the wedding dresses, so yeah, I'll do that.
How do you balance your work life and your family life, and also battling cancer at the same time?
To answer this question, I remember when I was very small, I grew up with a lot of boy cousins. I'd always just used to say, why is it that I'm not born a man, because it was a different world at that time, right? But then I was so thankful, as years passed by, I'm so thankful that, God has made me a woman, because of the fact that I'm a woman, that I can concentrate on so many things in one time. I've always believed that women they can multitask, multifaceted, they can balance anything. Like, you're a sister, you're a daughter, and you also go to college, you also do this work, and you have to come back and cook, right? So we somehow, God has blessed us with such a great thing in life, that we can balance all of this in the best way. So, but then when it comes to a certain disease that hits you, life becomes harder. It's not as easy as one thinks. Even though I've survived cancer, the effects of the chemotherapy and the effects of radiation also takes a toll on my health. I do get tired. A lot of days I do get tired. I still have to be under medication. I have to keep on going to the doctor. So it is a challenge. And coming to the shop, trying to balance being an entrepreneur as well. It is tough, but I'm telling you, God has given us the ability to somehow be able to do everything in the most beautiful way. So I try to, spend time with my child. I'm thankful that I have a husband who also helps me along. I try to, cook sometimes. I try to do a little bit of gardening. Then when I get tired, of course, I do sleep sometimes, and then I come back here, try to meet customers. But at the end of the day, it's how you tell yourself that you have to be strong no matter what. You have to push yourself. You have to believe that there's that inner force that guides you to accomplish things that you thought will not be possible. Because I used to say that it's also written in the scriptures, with God nothing is impossible. Yeah. So that push, that strength, that ability to go forward in life is all because of him.
Kong Wari, you're very inspirational, also motivate me a lot. And this I will take, for me, it's an experience to grow from.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, and the last question, what message, as an influencer, what message you are to spread to the viewers?
So as an influencer, because my message has always been around positivity, I would like to tell everybody who's viewing this that positive thinking will create a lot of miracles in your life, and it gives you that driving force to fight anything in life and to always move forward. As an entrepreneur, a few message that you believe in your dreams, you pursue your dreams, and you just believe in doing what you love doing. And if you love doing things, I've always believed that success will find its way. And as a mother, I like to say that women are gifts from God, so we can always accomplish more than we think we're capable of. So overall, believe in your dreams, be positive, be strong, and God will lead the way for us all.
Sending all the positive vibes to
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wari had transformed her personal experience into a force for good, touching the lives of countless individuals and making a meaningful impact in the fight against cancer. Wari's legacy was not just in her survival, but in her unwavering commitment to raising awareness and supporting others. Her voice of hope continued to inspire and uplift, proving that even in the face of adversity, one person's voice could spark a wave of change.